Hey guys, welcome back to DCS World. I'm Spudknocker, as always, and today we're going to take a look at Eagle Dynamics' Christmas present for us in the form of the latest open beta update, and that is the new P-51 externals and internal models, as well as the update to the cockpits of all of the DCS World warbirds. But because the P-51 is very near and dear to my heart, we're going to take a look at the P-51, and it has received the biggest changes as it was the very first warbird for DCS. Now, some Mustangs that really stick out to me and are very close to my heart are Ridge Runner 3, as well as Old Crow. And unfortunately, the Old Crow and Ridge Runner skins that I found are very old and are no longer mesh with the PBR lighting and whatnot in DCS. And so there's lots of artifacts and stuff, but we're going to instead use Hurry Home Honey and Desert Rat for our wingy over there, which will work just fine. So we can tell that this is the new variant of the Mustang in DCS, the -25-NA variant, by the radial masts and the radial wire connecting from the cockpit to the tail. As well as we could, of course, walk up to the airplane in real life and check the data plate, which would be on the other side of the airplane, underneath the horizontal stabilizer. But we can't do that here in DCS World. Now, the -25-NA variant was used for the most part in the ETO, whereas the original Mustang we had in DCS, the -30-NA, was used extensively in the PTO. Now, the big difference between them, which deals with that radio mass difference, is the inclusion of a lot of RDF and IFF equipment in the -30, and that is due to the very long and lonely overwater flights from islands like Chichijima or the Chinese mainland over to the Japanese home islands. Now, that is a super long overwater flight in a piston engine aircraft with a single engine. And those pilots, man, they really had some balls back then, that is for sure. The ETO variant, the -25 that we have here, is a little bit lighter in real life. I looked in the loadout screen, and the gross weights of the two Mustangs are the same, so maybe that'll be updated in the future. However, I did notice in a bit of a practice session before this mission that I felt like this Mustang did have a little bit more get up and go to it. But, you know, that could just be something that I think is there because I think it should be there. You know, I don't know, whatever. But, so we'll go ahead and hop on the cockpit and we'll get started. We've got some 109s and some trucks set up at a ramp a few miles away from here. So we'll get into the air, we'll go and attack those units out there, and then we'll bring it on home for landing. Now, normally I would start up the Mustang with the cockpit open, due to the fact that if there was a fire, I want to exfil the cockpit as quickly as possible, but we're foregoing safety in order to stay dry. So we'll go ahead and get her started up. That's forward, mixture's good. Alrighty then. Looks like we're ready for a startup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've always thought the Mustang was a little bit easy to start here in DCS, but that is because our recent memory of Mustangs is, of course, warbirds, which are elderly, very elderly aircraft that really need a lot of tender loving care to get started and into the air and all of that. So I believe that in wartime, back when these things were brand new, they were quite a bit easier to start, and so maybe that's where ED is kind of going with their startup model with the P-51 here. So we'll uncage our ADI, and we'll go ahead and do a sweep of the cockpit. A little bit less than 5 degrees of trim. Bring our flaps up. Now, as you guys can see, this is not a wide-angle screen, and the FPS is capped at 60 because I'm in the middle of a move in the holiday season here, and unfortunately my wide-angle panel is still being shipped by UPS. Unfortunately, it's a little bit delayed, so I did want to get this video out to you guys. So, because of the YouTube compression, I think that the only visual differences you guys will see is just the aspect ratio of the screen. Now this video will be a little bit lighter on the commentary, and I'll just let you guys sit back and relax and enjoy the scenery and the flying, simply because it's just more of a hand stick and throttle airplane and less systems to talk about and go over. So I'll definitely do some talking, but definitely not as much as you're used to me talking. Alrighty, we'll do a little bit of a run up. Not too much of one for the interest of time. Now when you're flying warbirds in DCS, if you have the ability to increase the tension on your throttle and on your stick, I really recommend that, as it's the closest thing we can get to some sort of force feedback, and it'll allow you to be a little bit more precise and hold the stick in the right spot, because these guys, while they have trim, they don't trim out nearly as well as you would want them to. Now we can of course see that the new textures in the cockpit are very beautiful. Hopefully we'll get into the sun here and get a better look at that. So we'll go ahead and start our taxi. Got our feet up high on the pedals to start to get to our toe brakes. We've got our stick all the way to our belly. We're holding onto it with our forearm. Now, normally, because we've got the cockpit closed, we'd have some poor bloke sitting out on our wing helping to direct us, because we can't stick our head out of the canopy to look over that giant nose, but we'll do our best here. There's some brand new Mustangs delivered to the ETO, ready for some paint. So we have all of the takeoff assistance and auto rudder turned off, because that's what real warbird pilots do. Alrighty, looks like we're pretty much lined up. Pretty good. Let's take a look. Engine values look pretty good. We'll go ahead and open our carburetors. Alrighty. Everything looks good. Stick to our belly, and we'll go ahead and push it on up. Gear up. Alright, we're going to put our heels onto the floor to be a little bit more precise with the rudder inputs. Gear up. That's good. Engine temperatures look good. Oxygen's flowing. Alright, we'll go ahead and pull our RPM back a little bit. Looks like we got a little bit of turbulence at about 1,500 feet. That's be a good thing to know for our strafing runs. And we'll go ahead and get our weapons set. The rockets. Single. And we'll leave with our fixed gun sight for our strafing runs. Adjust our RPM a little. And we'll go ahead and go into ram air rather than filtered. Adjust our elevator trim, and our aileron trim a little. Increase our rate of climb. There's the winging. Wingy? Wing'em? I don't know what I said there. Now that we're into some sun, we can really see how beautiful the cockpit is. It looks really good. And it's interesting, it's subtle. You know, it just looks like the way it always should have been, in my opinion. It's not overly crazy, it's not underwhelming, it's not overwhelming, it's just perfect, in my opinion. If that even makes sense. That's just the way I can describe it. What really looks good, I think, is the no handhold weather. It looks a little bit better from farther away, but I think it really looks nice. Some of the wear and tear on the cockpit looks really nice. Alrighty, she is flying very well today. Very nicely. Alrighty. Got our rockets in single. Ready to go. Perfect. Should be coming up on our target pretty quick here. Should be the next airfield down the beach. Passing Angels 4. Alrighty, there's our target airfield. Now our target should be some trucks on that ramp, as well as some 109s parked there. So it should be a good little target for us. Thankfully it won't shoot back. I have a habit of getting sniped out of the cockpit by 88s. I know that issue's been resolved at least a little bit, but it still haunts me. So for the sake of making a nice video, we're gonna make sure we're not shot at. It's a very cool little harbor down there. The Normandy map is very beautiful. I just wish there was some way to increase its performance a bit. I know, of course, I'm on a terrible panel and we're locked into 60 frames, but just in general, I think the Normandy map could really use some performance improvements, and I think people would like it a lot more. I know that DCS can be a bit of a controversial, DCS World War II could be a bit of a controversial subject within the DCS community, but I think it works really well, and it just needs to be fleshed out a little bit more. Oh, looks like we're into another little squall here. And we'll go ahead and dive in on our targets. All of our values look good. We'll go ahead and do guns for our first pass. And we'll go after the trucks and show off the new real-time BDA assessment. Left rudder a bit. Oh, there's that turbulence. There we go, baby. Come on. Yep. So there we go. Blitz damage at 3%. Not so great for the first pass. But that's all right. We'll tell our wingmen to engage utility vehicles. Man, the Mustang is just so beautiful. Such a beautifully flying airplane. You have to know her well. But once you know her well, she is just wonderful. Strafing run from another heading. That way the gunners down there don't get a bead on us right away. Ah, that's a better one. Found a good heading to deal with the wind. Use that speed to gain some altitude. Engine temps look good. We're pushing her, but she's doing well. Give her a little bit of a break here as we peel away. Yeah, those crosswind strafing runs are hairy, to say the least. Alright, we've got our rockets set up, so we'll go ahead and fire some rockets on this pass. Alrighty, this run looks a lot better. A little bit of left, tiny bit of left rudder, tiny bit. Nice shots with the rocket. Pull off that target. Keep some speed. Right over the beautiful water. Man, what a pretty picture. Oh, we are really shellacking that airfield. Coming in for another strafing run. We'll come down low. Feel that turbulence kick in. 109. Shot at the 109 there. Ooh, trees. Yeah, we can definitely feel that turbulence kick in right at about 1,500 feet. Give the engine a little bit of a break as we come around here. Now this may seem totally counterintuitive and totally out of the realm of craziness, but I would say if you're looking to prepare for the F-14 Tomcat, I would say learn to fly the P-51. It's very much a stick and rudder airplane. And engine management is, of course, a huge topic in the Mustang. And it's going to be the same way with the TF-30s in the F-14A Tomcat. So getting used to that idea of engine management and dealing with a bit of a quirky aircraft, but one that you, once you get to know, flies very well, it will definitely help you out, I feel like. So we'll go ahead and follow in our wingy here. You can see he's a little blue dot out there. Just very small stick movements is all you need in the Mustang. Full stick deflection is not your friend. Oh, nice shot. We'll go ahead and finish up this truck that he came in after. Come on, baby. Come on. Work with me. Alright, for the interest of time, we'll go ahead and make one more strafing run, and then we'll peel off and head on back home to home plate, do a little bit of aerobatics, and then we'll bring her on in for a landing. Hopefully we can grease one right on in, and then that'll be it. That'll be all she wrote. Alrighty, here we come. Here we go, baby. There we go. Woo! I'm sure there's a little French boy down there yelling, P-51, Cadillac of the sky, a la Empire of the Sun. Hey, you know what? We got one more truck. Let's go ahead and get him. We're coming in a crosswind strafing run, so it's probably not going to go well, but we'll see. Come on, work with the wind. And looks like we're almost out of ammo anyway. Just our outside guns are firing now. Woo! There he goes. Nice shot, buddy. Just such a joy to fly the P-51. It's so classic, such a fun airplane. I really recommend that you guys get into warbirds and DCS. It is just a lot of fun. Even if you don't go for the full Normandy and the assets pack experience, it's just a heck of a lot of fun. And just P-51 brings a smile to my face every time I fly it. That is for sure. Alright, let's see if we can find where we are. Alrighty, heading towards waypoint 5. Alright, let's give our engine a bit of a rest. And like I said, I know it sounds unorthodox, but if you're itching to get into the Tomcat and you're itching to get ready for the Tomcat, I would say give the P-51 a try and really get used to that engine management. Now, in the F-110 powered F-14B, it's not going to be a big deal. You can slam bang your throttles everywhere, and it's no big deal. But when the F-14A comes out and you want to fly it for the Iranians on the red side, it's definitely going to be a much bigger deal.
Flight, join up.
Alright, we'll go ahead and turn our gun sight off so we don't damage our gyros. We'll safe up the jet. Or the... not the jet, what am I saying? What's our altitude? We'll go ahead and bring her back up to 4,000. And pull back the RPM a bit. How's our engine doing? Everything looks good to me. We're a bit cold, if anything, so why don't we go ahead and put these guys back into auto. She's just purring along. Do a 500 feet per minute ascent. No need to hurry. Now, one story that I always like to tell people is back in World War II in the Pacific, both Corsair and Mustang pilots, when flying to and from the home islands of Japan for their attacks on basically anything that moved on their search and destroy missions, the flight home would be so long and take so long that they would take turns taking naps in formation in the flight. And how they do this in an airplane with zero trim, well, there is trim, but you can't really trim it out like you could a Harrier or an F5. They take oversized rubber bands and connect one to the left-hand side of the cockpit, string it across to the right-hand side, and one from their belly up onto the instrument panel to hold that stick in the right spot to be able to lay back and relax and take a bit of a nap while in formation. And it is just unbelievable to me. But it certainly happened. Alright, so we can see our airfield out there to the left. So our altitude 4,000, perfect. And you'll notice that as we change altitudes and airspeeds, our manifold pressure does change, and this is due to the thinness of the air as we gain altitude, or the thickness of the air as we lose and shed altitude. And so you're not going crazy if you see your manifold pressure moving, even though your throttle is stationary in the Warbird. That is something that really catches some people off guard that aren't used to that aren't used to piston engines after coming from turboprops or from jet engines. And she is just flying like a dream. You know, if you're gonna fly this guy and get the most out of it, you're gonna want to definitely have rudder pedals. Even the cheapy ones that I'm using right now will really help. And like I said earlier, I'm not flying with any auto rudder or any takeoff or landing assistance. It is just simple practice and knowing the airplane.
Go trail.
Thrown in a bit of another squall. Wonder if it's still running over our base. And here we go, into a loop. I think the prop textures also got a bit of a revamp. They look really nice. Oh, fell out of the loop a little bit. That's alright. We'll pull it back to idle, and we'll go ahead and enter that landing pattern. Drops down. Gear down. Gonna have to trim her out quite a bit. Right on that cusp of that turbulence layer at 1,500 feet. So we'll give ourselves a little bit of room for the runway. And man, is it hard not to have a smile on your face when you're flying the P-51, especially with the brand new cockpit. It just is gorgeous and just a dream. That's some power. Oh boy. Now, we want to come at a bit of a steep angle for landing. We don't want to be too steep, but just steep enough that we can see the runway over our nose. How's our speed? Speed's looking good. How's our altitude? 500 feet. All right. There we go. Yep. Hit some rain. Lowered the FPS. Oh boy. Oh, we're gonna do it. It'll be okay. Here we go. Oh, a little bit of bounce. Not too bad. Oh boy. Oh, that wasn't good. We're tapping the brakes so we don't plant the prop into the dirt. Go ahead and back taxi. Nice soft grass, so it's okay for the wheels, as long as it's not too wet. Grass is very forgiving for prop aircraft as well, especially ones that aren't too heavy. Alrighty, let's see where our wingy is. Alrighty, it looks like he's doing his downwind. Alrighty guys, so that was a fun little mission. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, to show off the brand new P-51D-25-NA, as well as the brand new textures and models for the cockpit. So, everyone fly safe and enjoy this beautiful new update for DCS World. Enjoy this great product. Thanks a lot, guys.